What is up, ladies and gents? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Raf Closing coming to you with a unique episode of The Bullpen, a joint venture of Inside BJJ and The Grappling Hour. I hope you're having a great day. Somebody who's not going to have a great day is KEVIN SHERILL, wherever he is. We'll get to that in a second, but we have so much show to make happen here today. Normally, we are a topical news show where we bring analysis, opinions on all of the major events in the world of jiu-jitsu. And today, we're actually doing the opposite of that. We're doing a minor event in talking about KEVIN SHERILL. And in order to do that, I want to bring on my partner, the guy who is the co-pilot of this beast, Tim Freeman. Tim, how you doing, sir?
What's going on, Raf? I am more excited about this show than any show we've ever done. This was the easiest prep in the whole world. I got a stack of notes here, and I can't wait to unleash them on our good friend KEVIN SHERILL. Let's start this fire up. It's time to roast.
I'm going to be honest here, Tim. This is the happiest I've ever seen you on this show. So it does have some concerning elements for me. But nonetheless, we also want to point this out. Everybody here, yes, KEVIN is not here. We'll explain it more as we go. He's on hiatus, unfortunately. But we did bring some friends, though, who are more than willing to talk about him. And I think it's important we show the dais for today's roast. And we've got, well, two very interesting people here. You've got the Dream, Stephen Akin, and Katie Boheneck. Am I getting that name right? Did I do it right? Almost. Yes. Where was it? Oh, hey, we did do it right. Oh. Welcome. This is the pleasantry part. I guess I should ask this. I'm going to start with you, Katie. Why do you think KEVIN asked you to show up for this roast?
You know, I'm not really sure. I think it's just because he's afraid I'm going to tell my mom to stop talking to him.
Fair. I would also like to ask this. Steven, same question on over to you, sir.
I really don't know why he would actually ask me to be here, because he knows that he's never, ever beat me in any type of altercation or game. So I'm not really sure. Maybe he thought you guys would gang up against me or something. I don't know why he would invite me here, honestly, because he's going to get roasted.
It's kind of hard because we all love you. KEVIN, we're still on the fence about, but like Stephen Akin, you're the Dream. Everybody who talks to you, to know you is to love you. So you're not the concern here. I guess the only parameter he put was to make sure we didn't say anything that would no longer make us friends. So just quick vote here. Does anybody have any joke that they think could possibly not make them friends with KEVIN SHERILL by the end of this show?
I hope so.
I didn't have one, but now I feel like I need to have one. So we'll see here. But we're going to get this started. I guess the last question here is, Tim, for you, what does this roast mean? Like, what are we trying to accomplish here on the bullpen?
Well, a couple things. One is KEVIN got his black belt, so this is a rite of passage for him that we are enacting on him. And he's been gone for a while. And when you're gone for a while, people start to talk. And at first, it's like they're talking of concern. And then the talk turns to, maybe they're talking shit a little bit. So this is what you have brought on yourself, KEVIN SHERILL. So you can thank yourself for it. You've earned it. And today you shall receive it.
Do you feel better that he's not here? Does that help with you at all in terms of the joke writing structure?
Well, absolutely. I'm punching below the belt on a few of these, and that's okay because you can punch below the belt as long as it looks inadvertent. You could get a couple clean shots in. That's just good tactics. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. So, if he was here, I might have a little more restraint. I might, watch my words a little bit, but he's not.
Well, you listen, guys. Why don't we just get straight to it? I'll go ahead and kick things off. As the master of ceremonies here, I thank you in advance. And I just want to say we have a lovely collection of people here, and I'm very excited to see what you guys do. And as somebody who's told jokes, I don't know that there's anything you'll say that will offend me, so do what you need to do. But more importantly, let's just really get KEVIN. Like, that's really what we're all here for. So, like, if we can Captain Planet all of our rings together and just beat the shit out of him, I feel like this is time well spent. There's a lot of grappling news that we're literally saying, no, we're not going to talk about that, to do this today. And I feel like we're in good spirits. So I'll go ahead and kick us off in 3, 2, 1. Moving on over to the side here. Hey, everybody. Hello, and welcome to the roast of Jake Watson's replacement on the bullpen. I'm very excited to have you guys joining us. And yes, my name is Raf Closing, and I'm here because Alex Wendling could not be bothered. As the master of ceremonies, it is my job to tell you a little bit about the man that we are roasting here today. Here are a few facts about Kevin that are important to know. He was once a barista, he worked in marketing, and he's been awarded a jiu-jitsu black belt after 10 years of jiu-jitsu, which means his most notable achievement is still being a Starbucks barista. Kevin also prides himself on being dubbed handsome. In a sport filled with dudes, it's really in. Happy Pride Month. Tonight, we will honor the black belt of Kevin to show the incredibly low bar there is for white dudes in jiu-jitsu. As long as you don't pull a J-Wad or a Jacob Couch, you will be applauded. Must be nice. You know, we're doing this the day after Juneteenth because Kevin has always said we need another day for reflection. Well, actually, Kevin feels much safer the day after Juneteenth because he's not quite sure how far back his family's history goes in Atlanta. A lot of you know Kevin from the PGF, but most of you know him as that guy who was at your gym for a year or two before he ducked out. Take a look. It's like a horror movie villain. He's in the background of most of your photos. I promise you that. And I have to say, it is quite the week to be doing this. Grappling is bigger than ever. And if I'm being honest, Kevin is, and I'm being sincere here, Kevin is the true embodiment of UFC Fight Pass. As in, they took a look at his body of work in the PGF and said, pass. Today, you're going to see a handful of Kevin's best friends who, in true Kevin fashion, literally phoned in their performances with the best jokes ChatGPT could muster. In fact, not even the love of Kevin's life was available. Unfortunately, Elijah Carlton was too busy robbing Jason Dolph earlier today in UFC BJJ. Kevin's black belt has been a long time coming, which is precisely how Elijah Carlton describes sex between the two. Of course, our guest is not here today. He said he wished he could be here, and that's normally something he says when he's pretending like he actually wants to. For those keeping record, yes, Kevin actually took a spa day for his own roast, which is why it is truly unfortunate he does not have kids, because he would have made the best deadbeat dad. And to those not in the know, Kevin famously took a day off from a week-long jiu-jitsu competition only to return the very next day. He called it a spa day, though I argue most spa days don't end with a facial from Elijah Carlton. That's called a callback here, kids, which is something Kevin refuses to do to a woman after a first date.
Oh.
Speaking of his sex life, Kevin also wrestled in college. Is a question we often get asked here on the show. As in, did he? Do you have evidence of it? Wrestling private. So, since he is not here today in post, not now for the live show, but we'll in post put some photos of him laughing at white belts attempting to hit submissions. Mostly his white belts, because I don't think they're learning much. Now, there's a small chance that you didn't know that we were doing a roast here today. Kevin asked me how come we didn't promote it more, and I said I put just as much effort into promoting it as he does the bullpen. If you didn't know this about Kevin, one of his most coveted possessions is his handsome weight title, a championship belt that is about as authentic as Mackenzie Stern's accent. Some of you may not know, but Kevin is a celebrated MMA coach, which means he only shows up to celebrate and take credit when they win. Now, before I open the floor to our illustrious days, I should point out that Kevin's only parameters for this roast were to make sure that we would all still be friends at the end of it. But he's not here, so you know what I mean. Have at. Do whatever you want. It's all yours at this point. Now, the weird part is, just to give you an idea of what we're doing here, Tim and I asked Kevin to provide us with a list of who he would like on this dais, and out of 10 names, 2 actually showed up for the live show. And not even Paul Ardila, who, bless his heart, had to decline due to ice reasons. And I say this with love. Every one of the people who sent in a video did their very best, but the sound and the editing is rough. Osama bin Laden had better production value, is essentially what I'm trying to say here. But don't judge your boy here, because this is pristine quality. What you're about to hear, someone has been kidnapped. So look for a newspaper in the background of any of these videos if you need it. Anyway, my thanks to you all for being here. I think we should just get this thing started, shall we not? Why don't we go ahead and start with, unfortunately, one of the craziest nicknames in all of MMA, a nickname that's actually so terrible, you pretty much have to be good at MMA and fighting, unfortunately is. Ladies and gentlemen, we start off the roast with a video from one Babygoose.
I'm Reese, Goose, whatever. So here we go. Kevin insists he's 6 feet tall, which is weird because he exudes the confidence of someone under 5'10", Kevin is the only grappler I know to hit the gym and somehow get weaker. I once saw Kevin try to impress some girls at the gym by throwing on more plates on his incline bench. And he tried, emphasis on tried, to rep it and called it a day right after. We've been there 20 minutes. If you notice, Kevin only talks out of one side of his mouth, which is funny because he shovels in food. Those skills would transfer over. Kevin's brother hit him with a car. It's a damn shame he didn't finish the job. I used to rent a room from Kevin, which was huge for me, but then I realized I subsidized Kevin's mortgage. A black guy making a white man's lifestyle possible. Typical Tuesday in Kevin's world. The only thing fatter than Kevin is his cat, Otis. Kevin loves Otis because they both practice a non-stop feeding diet. Shout out to my man Otis. Kevin spends a significant amount of time painting small tabletop minis and playing tabletop dice games. I don't even have to make a joke for that. Just do with that information as you will. Don't let the Tesla fool you. Kevin is still broke as shit. Kevin also inherited one of those super nice fancy rolling tool carts. The ones blue collar dudes get like real hard for and all that. I couldn't figure out why, because Kevin's not like a tool guy. He's not very handy with tools. But I figured that it must be a great background prop for his gay porn scenes, Kevin always makes fun of my stutter or how I fumble the words, which is, true and fair. But it's also crazy because even with my affliction to the English language, I'm somehow less annoying to hear speak than Kevin. Stephen Akin, I'm sorry, I don't even know how to say your name. I don't really know you very well, but you are a large calorie human being. So Sergio, you look like Stuart Little with money. You look like Stuart Little with a glow up. You were definitely at one of them Diddy parties. I don't know which one, but you was at one of them. Paul, you're too nice of a guy for me to come up with anything with. It really was hard to think of anything. And he's also leagues richer than me. Has way more money. So aside from asking me for an inward pass that one time, keep being that nigga, man. You're doing great. Katie, you look like you call rolling sparring and matches fights. Katie, if you were my nurse, I'd sign a DNR and then kill myself. Ernesto, I don't know if you know this, but Ernesto's full name isn't Ernesto Rivera. He never introduces himself by his full title. His name is Ernesto Rivera, certified power bottom, king of the twinks. Don't forget it. So.
He's in a shower here. All right, let's come back to this all the way through. My thanks to him. That excellent work there, sir. And you know what's really weird about that? I'm going to take a minute to look at the background of this, but if you're going to do a roast, please don't have every piece of clothing you own in the shot. It's just really distracting when I think, oh, that's a good joke. Also, this dude has done some laundry, and I can see it all, so it exists. So I'm happy for him. Nonetheless, we're going to go now to somebody who we're very excited to bring on the show. Kevin said he is terrified of what she has to say here on the roast, to which I said, hey, Katie Boheneck, you have the floor. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Katie Boheneck.
All right, guys, thank you very much. So first things first, Kevin, stop texting my mom and congrats on your black belt. A lot of people may know him as Handsome Kevin, but the joke has gone on long enough, and that would be great. Unironically, his ego is the biggest thing on him. But one day we'll get to see Kevin without hair and feel a whole lot better about ourselves. All jokes aside, if Kevin was ugly, we probably wouldn't let him yap as much as he fucking does. But at least God gave him a lisp, so we could keep him humble. So the whole black belt thing is great, but I've never met a man who needs a hug from his father more than Kevin. So jiu-jitsu was the right fit. So honestly, Kevin's parents must be so proud of him that he got his black belt, because that means he took some time away from staying at home and jacking off to do something with his life. I'm not sure who gave him a black belt, though, when the man doesn't even know how to tie his shoes. Have you seen him wear sneakers? Doesn't happen. Not a lot of people know this about Kevin, but he actually tells people that he, like, flew a plane when he was younger. And that just feels like the time that they let Helen Keller behind, like, the wheel of a plane and told her she was flying and blew in her face. Good thing that Helen Keller isn't alive anymore for her sake, because she'd be the perfect girl for Kevin. You know? He could just yap all day. Nobody would tell him to shut up. Somehow, I still feel like she'd find a way to tell him to shut the fuck up. But honestly, Kevin, if you want to have a word with me in person, you know exactly where I'll be. I'll be at your dad's house, so come find me.
Hey, thank you very much for that. Excellent work.
No problem.
Good Lord. Oh, I needed a minute after the Helen Keller joke. That,
Bro.
oh my God.
I wish I would have thought of that. When I was like, damn, that's a good one.
But
He could get on Helen Keller's nerves.
Tim, you were there when he told us just ever so slightly that he flew a plane, and we both had to look at him with the look of two grown-ups telling a small Make-A-Wish kid, sure you did, bud. Absolutely you did. And I'm glad you lived this long. It didn't look good for you, but you made it.
Yeah.
Honestly, guys, I feel like listening to Kevin talk about any of his accolades, jiu-jitsu included, is listening to a kid talk about their Yu-Gi-Oh card collection.
Yeah. It's like hearing your son tell you about his dream.
It's a little, Tim, we're going to stop you here before your own children tune in and they're like, Dad, I told you that in confidence.
They know how I feel about their damn dreams.
Well, let's do this. Why don't we find out what Sergio Ardila had to say when he was busy collecting paychecks from the poor, doing absolutely nothing. Here he is.
This is a little video for Kevin's roast. Gonna try to keep in mind what we were told, man. Try to keep the friendship going, but I didn't expect this friendship to go on too much longer past like 2 weeks of training. and you're getting fucked up by everybody. Where I look at it, man, we've already gotten a lot more than we expected. Anyway, man, you got your black belt. I guess that's a big deal. Congrats. I will say the biggest thing about that is it's kind of proof, man, that if you stall long enough, even promotions can't escape. And I do got to commend you for all your perseverance, man. Specifically the perseverance that you keep switching gyms long enough, man. Eventually you'll find somebody to give you that black belt. You are the only guy that, despite being a good coach and teaching good breaks and stuff, sometimes your comp performances don't really show that. It's like yoga with fear of commitment. Zero pressure, zero submission, just deep breathing and making bad decisions. You do call yourself the handsome Kevin, which is bold for somebody who looks like the Trader Joe's version of Paul. Great value though. For a while, all a girl needed to do to be the breadwinner in the relationship was just bring in that minimum wage income. Let's talk about the Tesla. Now, I used to believe that you got a car like that to look like you care about the environment. But I will say your biggest flex on that front was that PGF performance of pure energy conservation. But listen, man, let's keep it short. Truth is, man, you show up, and not just for yourself, but for your students. And throughout the year, somehow I've actually learned some jiu-jitsu here and there from you. And I feel like some of the guys here probably have as well. Fortunately for you, that does mean that you're that one coach that gets fucked up by his students. But man, even that takes grit and perseverance to keep showing up and keep taking it. So man, here's to you getting that black belt. All 5'9" of black belt courage, high level stalling, and just enough of the hell with it to keep calling yourself handsome. Congrats, man. You definitely earned it, even if we're still fucking you up.
Sergio Ardila, everybody. He said he was going to charge us for every second that he was on air, and I said I'm going to charge him for every laugh I give. So I think we came out even on that. I want to bring this up to you. Nothing says I have too much money and too little interest like doing a video outside a pool of a very rich and white clouded background. Like, this dude literally is like, do you want to see how much money I have? Jokes from my buddy Kevin. How are you doing? Anyway, back to being pretty nice. Recurring theme from today's show. But nonetheless, we're going to press on here, you guys. We have a lot of ground to get through. But we also have the esteemed, the voice of the Craig Jones Invitational. I mean, he has to be the voice because, let's be honest, we've seen what the body of Craig Jones looks like, and anything that can help fool somebody will make that show better. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the dream himself, Stephen Akin.
Wow. Man, I was unprepared for the level of roasting that might be going on here, but thank you, Raf, for having me here. You know, everybody, let's give it up for Raf. He's definitely like the voice of jiu-jitsu podcasting. He's been covering jiu-jitsu for so long. I bet his first interviews were done by carrier pigeon. That's enough stalling, though. Let's get to the man of the hour. We'll talk about KEVIN SHERILL. Kevin treats submissions like he treats accountability. He avoids them at all costs. Kevin's guard is like his career, completely dependent on people not watching it too close. Kevin's the only dude who can get praise for not stalling too hard this time. His bar so low, it's a trip hazard. Kevin's the reason PGF had to add a shot clock, a stall warning, and a priest to read people their last rites halfway through his long stalled out matches. Now let's talk about Tim Freeman, the godfather of BJJ podcasting. Inside BJJ has been around so long, it's basically the grandpa of jiu-jitsu podcasting. And now Tim's on the bullpen. Congratulations, Tim. Way to finish strong there, guy. I had to leave them out.
Do it.
No, I was just gonna say you got one with Paul who's more like fiber optic, and Sergio who's a little more dial up, if you know what I'm saying. Young Mr. Reese Watkins, that was pretty good with the high calorie jokes or whatever. I wasn't the one sitting mat side at the PGF. Sounded like my stepdad was getting beat up by Elijah Carlton. The only person that owned this whole DS that I was actually afraid of was Katie. But thankfully, I'm not like all these other nerds who slide into these girls' DMs being some kind of weirdo. But yeah, she's the only one that's a real finisher out here. She's terrifying. So I'm gonna step back and pass off the baton until later.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, give it up to your boy, Stephen Akin, making it all nice. Very nicely done, sir. You know what's so funny about this, Stephen? And I thought about this, but does anybody else get kind of this vibe that with Kevin, when he shows up somewhere, like when he goes to get his plastic surgery, he gives Paul Ardila that face and says, "Make me look like that." Like, does anybody else feel that way? Because it's just... clearly Kevin's had work done. Not good work, but work. So every time I hear one of you guys talk about that stuff, I'm like, oh, right, we've just gotten past the Botox. Like, it's very
The only reason anybody ever called Kevin handsome was really because of me. And it's funny that you mentioned the Make-A-Wish Foundation. That was actually the deal between us, the PGF, and Kevin's family, Miss Terry. Sorry for spilling the beans here, but it was a Make-A-Wish deal to give him that handsome belt at all. So
it's still the greatest thing in the world. Kevin's second best accolade is being someone who tied me in fantasy football in PGF, which means me, who's never grappled a second in the PGF, literally right there with Kevin, having been in it for, I think, hours. They might actually have constituted days at this point with all of the stalling, but nonetheless, we have some stuff to get to here, people, and we do have more friends dropping in. So I'm going to go ahead and take us now to a video from a young man who was a PA for us when we were doing the Craig Jones Invitational and the ADCC coverage out in Vegas. This young man by the name of Ben Vaught is somebody who is kind of like a younger version of Kevin. He thinks he's good at jiu-jitsu, way beyond his means. He talks trash, and then he does lose the match. So nonetheless, here is young Ben, who wanted to send in a quick submission here. So Ben, take it away, sir.
Kevin's the type of dude to moan when he wipes his butt. Kevin's the kind of guy to go to a strip club with sweatpants and no drawers on. Kevin's the kind of guy to oil check you then smell his finger after. Kevin's the kind of dude to say no when he's asked to round up his change to save dying children, but he'll throw pennies into fountains to make his own wish.
Let me bring this back here. So that young man had a wish, and that wish was to make sure that the last photo remained no matter what. He was like, Raf, make sure you don't cut before that photo. And I said, I'm going to do what I can here, young man. And I go, why didn't you just put it at the end as like a flash cut? He goes, no, man, I had a vision, and I need to see that vision through. And I go, oh, well, who am I to get in the way of your vision, sir? So nonetheless, there was that. But he's not the only person to send in a video. We also had a video. Wait, somebody put what? This is actually great. We should actually take a minute to address some of these comments. We did get comments in the comment section from people who are watching live. Aga just wrote what? And I don't know if it's in the Stone Cold version of what. So, okay. And then it says, this is actually from my social media clip guy who says, wow, Katie's funny. Raf, you should interview her. Full disclosure, Katie, you've been on the docket. Like, we wanted to interview you. The problem was, I don't think this is a good opportunity for me to interview you. I actually think I'm the wrong person to do that interview. But I argue this, Brian, I think this was a much better first time. So you're going to come on the show. You're more than welcome to if you would like to be.
Yeah.
But we'll do it. But Brian has definitely
Would
been
love
singing
to.
your praises. So him seeing you
Thank
here
you,
right
Brian.
now, him seeing you here right now is him being like, see. And I'm like, bro, I know. She's great. We like her. It's not the issue.
Yeah. And I
But
feel like it's pretty surprising too. Like most people don't think like, oh, a woman who's funny, like that's exciting. Like it's different.
you know, it is. It is very difficult. I mean, you have to understand from the perspective of dudes in this world of jiu-jitsu, our demo is negative women. So like to us, you coming on, if we get 2 women watching this, major upside for us.
Big flex.
I mean, my mom's on, so that counts for one, but
That
not for
is-
me, for Kevin.
Nonetheless, guys, let's press on. We're going to see another video here in a second. But what I wanted to say was we've had so many different people who sent in videos that I was very excited to see one in the same. So this one actually comes from Ernesto. And Ernesto, what's the way to introduce him? Let's look at the joke I wrote.
Flamboyant.
Well, yeah. You may know Ernesto for his jiu-jitsu work, but you definitely know him for his emotional outbursts, Matt side. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, here is Ernesto Rivera.
Chris, I heard you decline the chance to roast us all because you couldn't find it in yourself to be mean, which is pretty fucking ironic because every time we compete, you're not such a fucking pacifist. A woman once asked Nathan if he was Kron Gracie, and he didn't decline it, which is pretty funny because Kron Gracie can't box and you can't grapple. Paul, ever since you figured out that you're everything that Kevin wants to be, handsome, that's been really big for you. Just keep killing it, man. Reese, I'm glad to hear you're going to make the roast during fight week. I hope you edit out all your stutters. This is going to be a really long night for all of us. Steven, it's always been a joy to work with you and be interviewed by you. I was honestly surprised to find out you were a black belt. You're built like an Italian chef. Raf, I'm not sure what kind of Mexican you are. You look like someone made a stew from every minority. Finally, Kevin. First of all, man, congrats on the black belt. It couldn't have gone to a worse person overall. I know you're all thinking that Kevin got his black belt because he's friends with the owner. That's not true. He's really good at blowjobs. Someone once asked me if Kevin was our Make-A-Wish kid, and I said no, he's way too fat to have cancer. Kevin, you being a black belt shows that with little or no hard work, a lot of privilege, and a propensity to enter bad leg lock shootouts, anybody can be good at something really, really gay. Maybe not so good. Kevin, you're the first guy to ever make me wonder if white privilege truly exists. Kevin honestly does really treat his students with dignity and respect, which is really surprising if you see how he treats his body with all those shitty tattoos. Kevin once got put to sleep during a match and then woke up and finished the guy, which is really funny because he's never finished a woman and they're both awake the entire time for that. Kevin, you once drove me to Nashville to do PGF trials, which I really appreciated. The only problem is that I had to listen to you set a world record for words spoken in under 3 hours. Twice. Kevin used to actually let Reese rent a room in his house, which is really cool, but the only reason he did it is because he thought that renting a room to a black guy is what Section 8 housing is. It's not. Kevin found out a few months ago that you're not supposed to let your opponent pass your guard when you're doing jiu-jitsu, and that's been huge for him. A few years ago, Kevin came with us to Brazil, and it took him about 3 days to figure out that those Mexicans weren't speaking Spanish. It's Portuguese, Kev. Kevin, I remember when we went rock climbing, and that's the day that it confirmed for me that you're definitely not 6 feet tall. 5'9" at best. Kevin will tell you that he's a handsome, 6 foot tall white guy, but you know that can't be true because no one with all those attributes has the gumption to stick around in a sport like jiu-jitsu for this long. Kevin has an orange cat named Otis, and that's actually where he stole his free feeding diet from. That's how he got so obese. Kevin, I know you're going to be last in roasting us back. I know that's an unusual position, seeing as you usually finish first. Just take it slow, man. I promise you'll get there. In all seriousness, man, congrats on the black belt. It's more than well deserved. You've always been in my corner, and you know I'm always going to be in yours as well.
That was great.
Ernesto Rivera, thank you very much for that. Ernesto, of course, the guy who was contributing to his friend's early hearing loss. If you've ever heard this man, Matt's side, there's not a quiet thought in his head. Legitimately, whatever he thinks, you'll hear it. And you wait, hold on. What's that? I know he's on a different coast, but I'm pretty sure I heard him outside. Mostly because I'm just saying the dude is loud. I'm not saying it's because of his ethnicity, but I mean, prove me wrong. Nonetheless, we have one more video from a friend, Nathan Rivera. You're going to have to bear with me here. There might be a slight delay on how this comes up. You might see the beginning of Ernesto again, but I promise you, he will not get second airtime here. We're going to go straight on over to one Nate Rivera here in just a second.
Chris, I heard you decline.
All right, this is my roast for KEVIN SHERILL. It was hard to come up with this list, not because it's hard to roast Kevin. You know, it's just hard to keep everything I have to say within this short time frame. You know, there's a lot of material to work with someone like that, you know, so I kept it short. I just have a couple of things to say, 3 things. Kevin's the only person that I've ever met that thought a prostitute on the side of the road was actually trying to holler at him for his good looks. Kevin's that sick in the head that he thought that this girl, that her name was Russian Roulette, was trying to holler at him. You know, Kevin's also the only person in 2025 that still wears his beanies and his hats like somebody stuck in a freaking hipster 2010 hipster phase, you know. And you know, to speak on Kevin's jiu-jitsu and wrestling, you know, Kevin says he's a wrestler and he wrestled in college and all this stuff, but the only thing I've ever seen Kevin wrestle with is the fact that he is the less superior Kevin to Kevin Buring. So that's all I'll have really for the roast.
To you guys, I don't know if you know this, but I had to do some work over on Smooth Comp, and I wanted to get a true sense of Kevin the competitor. Now, I'm glad that Nathan actually brought that up, because did you know there's a match that doesn't have a result? And that match is Kevin versus Kevin Buring. The weird part is they're leaving it out, like they're waiting for the result. So we're still waiting to see how that one plays out there, is the way that one goes. But Kevin also recently won a new breed competition, which was very exciting to see. So we're very happy for him. That was a belt that we think he won. We're not quite sure. We're waiting to see if the check's cleared on him paying off his competition, which would not be the... But I'm very happy to bring on my co-pilot on this. Very happy to bring on somebody who's been podcasting longer than me by a week, if that's to tell you anything. Not that it means anything or that he forgets that because of the old age advanced. I guess what I'm saying is, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for one, Tim Freeman. Tim?
Hey, thank you very much, Raf. Yeah, I feel like, look, I was born in the 70s, so I'm going to say some shit today, Kevin, and you're just going to have to deal with it. But I'm glad to be here. What I did not expect was for the panel to go in on each other. Everybody was quite polite. I only heard my name come out of one mouth. And that mouth belongs to the big giant head that sits on the giant body of the man that accosted me, attacked me, unprovoked, unknown. I was coming down with pneumonia, severe pneumonia, and this man attacked me at the PGF. I have footage of it. He calls himself the Dream. Look, Steven, congratulations. You dress like a funeral director. Good job. You look like you just jumped into the broadcast after you got off your job at T-Mobile. Steven's listen, no joke though. He's a highly trained announcer. He went to junior college for 5 years. Steven calls himself the Dream. If you're dreaming of KFC, it's finger looking good. Okay, that's it. I love you, Steven. Hey, man, that's off the top of my head. We're going to bang today. Let's go. Okay, KEVIN SHERILL, congratulations on receiving your black belt, Kevin. This is your official roast. Handsome Kevin. We're going to start with the roast of your... have already been roasted, but we're going to do what we can. When Kevin was a little kid, He wanted nothing more than to be a magician when he grew up. His biggest dream and his biggest disappointment is that he could never master the trick of making his face disappear. KEVIN SHERILL has the face of a man who's been run over by his brother. KEVIN SHERILL grew a mustache and the crime rate went up. The general public was so disturbed, there was an uptick in calls to the local police department. There's a peeping KEVIN on the loose. even TMZ picked up the story. It was Reno 911 wannabe and jujitsu burnout, smoke, spice, and goes on peep spree. The police released a sketch of the suspect and then fired the sketch artist because he drew Leatherface. This is handsome KEVIN SHERILL. This is who we're talking about. Mona Lisa won't even look at him. She's like, oh, shit. And she looks at everybody. Enough about his face. Let's talk about his body. KEVIN, your body is a 4. All 5 feet 9 inches of it. KEVIN buys his shoes from Stride Right. I'll take the penny loafers. His body looks like it's literally trying to reject its face. KEVIN's neck is trying to shrink away from his face. It's like, I gotta get away from this guy. His body favors the period of time during COVID because he always had to have a mask on. Always telling him, you better put a mask on that mug, KEVIN. KEVIN's parents tried to abandon him when he was a child. They drove him out to the country and they dropped him off when he was 6. I'm serious. I'm not kidding. A 3-legged dog brought him back home. It's like, this guy doesn't belong out here. KEVIN's dad took him to the pound twice. Island. His parents, they tried to take him there and drop him off, and the Moai were like, dude, even we have standards. He can't be here. He was so bummed out when he got back home. His parents tried to cheer him up. They took him to go see a movie, Face Off. Let's talk about KEVIN's jiu-jitsu. That's a fucking good one. Okay, KEVIN's jiu-jitsu has been described as late-stage cancer. KEVIN's guillotine is loose and sloppy like his pussycat. You could will an actual guillotine out from the French Revolution, 1792. I'm talking 225-year-old wooden rickety-ass guillotine, and it would have a higher submission rate than KEVIN SHERILL. KEVIN's body is wishing that his legs would walk himself over to the guillotine so he could lop his head off and separate the face from the body for good. Let's get back to grappling. KEVIN's hands, they're so small, he has to wear drawstring pants because he can't work the buttons. When he got his black belt, he went to the local police department to get his hands registered, and they looked at his hands and they said, we don't register kid black belts. When KEVIN got his black belt, the professor tried to tie it around his neck. KEVIN's coach makes him practice the muffler on himself when they're training. Let's talk about KEVIN's wrestling. Okay, KEVIN looks like a guy who learned how to wrestle from listening to the Hokey Pokey. Put your right foot out, right foot out, right foot in. KEVIN's main move in high school for wrestling was pulling guard. KEVIN's single leg is so bad, he couldn't run the pipe on a one-legged man. KEVIN got his single leg from the KFC Vaught. Michi has finished more singles on Tinder than KEVIN's finished in wrestling matches. KEVIN thought a high crotch was a medical condition. His high crotch was so bad the doctor gave him a hysterectomy. KEVIN thought a leg ride was a sex move. KEVIN's the kind of guy who wears spats with no shorts on top when he goes to church. KEVIN has lost so many matches, even AJ Agazarm feels bad for him. KEVIN got ringworm on his face, and it was a vast improvement. KEVIN's leg locks have staph infection. KEVIN thought a heel hooker was a fetish escort. KEVIN's foot game is so bad he got sued by Foot Locker. KEVIN is the only guy in PGF history who had to pay a team to take him in the draft. Okay. I had to get that off of my chest. I had to get it out. And now I'm going to finish with this. And it's been alluded to, but we're going to expound on it. Handsome Kevin, the thing you're most known for in jiu-jitsu is not an amazing match where you fought your heart out. It's not a slick submission that you pulled out of your ass and the crowd went, oh. It's not bullying a young walk-on producer Ben on the mats of 10th Planet Las Vegas. The most is literally not doing jiu-jitsu. Your most celebrated moment is taking the day off, dude. This is ridiculous, dude. Literally, you brought the word spade into the jiu-jitsu lexicon. You took a spa day during season 5. The next day, the spa staff was so distressed they had to take a Kevin day. And Kevin, even though you're an ambulance chasing fake ass lion bullpen court attorney, you leave the toilet seat up, you take the last cup of coffee, your hair sucks, you might have lice, the kind you get on your body, you like Pepsi more than Coke. You're a hell of a broadcast partner and a damn good grappler. KEVIN SHERILL, congratulations, my friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, the roast master general of the bullpen, Tim Freeman, everybody. Woo! Well, that was fun. The weirdest part of this whole thing, I felt like some therapy. Like, I got some shit out of my system. I feel so much better. I could keep doing this. And in fact, I might just. I do want to, for the record, put up 2 stats here. The one little joke I have here is that we had 2 KFC jokes. You couldn't decide between one or the other. You were like, well, I got to get both these KFC jokes in. So there's that. Tim, you know what the worst part is? His mic is off. I can only hear you in the live. I hope that wasn't off. If it's not, we'll remaster it and set it back out. But thank you, True, for that. Oh, I know what's happening. I think something happened over on that one. I'll take care of that in a minute. Tim, thing you said in that sermon that you just provided us with that was more damaging than the time you called Kevin an Office 6. I've never seen rage in a person's heart more than him being hurt. Like, I'm sorry, what did you say about me? Like, I was sitting there being like, Kev's got trash wrestling. Kev's got trash jiu-jitsu. Of course. Kev's got an Office 6 look. And just like, I thought he was going to quit right then and there. So really, we made it past this without any sort of stuff. Before we start to close this, though, I would like to ask, does anybody have any leftover jokes that they didn't get to that they thought, you know what, let's just throw this out here? Because, hey, things were, oh, Kate, you know what? I knew exactly who I was talking to. Katie, you have the floor.
Honestly, the only thing Kevin's really known for, the only time Kevin is known for finishing first is not in jiu-jitsu. So I just wanted to get that off my chest. And if you think about it, Kevin's kind of like the Matthew McConaughey of jiu-jitsu. He's always going after younger girls. But anyway, listen to him talk about it. Oh, I already talked about that. But I mean, listening to him talk about his jiu-jitsu career is like listening to a kid talk about playing with Yu-Gi-Oh cards. It's just not something you want to stay tuned into. Anyway.
Thank you. Steven, did you have any left over? Because, Steven, you put something in the chat for everybody, which, by the way, I should fully disclose here. We had a group reminded me that no matter how responsible and organized I try to be, there are people who go, what time is this? What am I supposed to do? And I'm like, it's in the chat. And I go, and the details you don't have will appear magically. Oh God. Okay. You just sent me a video that you're in a forest. Okay. Let me see what I can do to fix that one up. Anyway, Steven, as you were saying.
Yeah. So like I had sitting in there. I was like, man, I left Ernesto alone. He came at me pretty aggressively there, you know. And I would say, like, you said it was fun to be interviewed by me, and it was really fun interviewing you too, Ernesto. I just really hated to hear you in that Diddy audio during the trial this week, man. That was really sad to hear you in there. Hope you recover well from that.
Do you want
And
me
Tim,
to throw you a
you
joke
said-
that I had in mind for Ernesto?
Yeah, let's go ahead and run that one too, really quick.
Okay,
Then I'll
gotcha.
get-
The one that I had in mind is he kind of sounds like the animated dog in a Pixar movie, because if you ever hear him talk, it's literally like, wait, why would you go do that? But why would you go without me? And I think, like, yeah, okay. I could see that as a character. Very sympathetic, very aggressive, but by the end of the movie, he learns an important lesson about love and acceptance, and it all comes together. So that's kind of my slight Ernesto impression.
No, that was definitely good. And Tim, man, I came at you a little bit there, but I thought I went light. You came pretty hard and like said it loud. Even that was the thing. Like it was a good joke though. Like, I got to admit, it was a good joke. And so I laughed, but the way it was just too loud, right? So I got to take it personal in that way. So I was dressed this way because it was a funeral for KEVIN SHERILL, but we could turn this into a funeral for you too, like a double burial up in this thing too. Looks like you're sitting in a 14-year-old girl's bedroom and you just hit all your shirtless KEVIN SHERILL posters to get on here and do this episode. When you got your black belt, man, you went to the police station to get registered, and they registered you on a different list, and it wasn't because of your hands. And allegedly, this person who may or may not have put hands on you before you did or did not get the flu, man, I've never seen any tape of this, any whatsoever. You just sound like some old delusional man who's yelling at the clouds, telling these young men at the mat how they could just do better if they play more close guard.
Tim, do you have a response to any of that, sir?
I mean, that was good. That was real good. Steven, no, I don't have anything off the top of my head. I got to hand it to him. Give me a couple minutes. I might write. I wrote the guy just fired shots at my ass. Yeah,
those were pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I do want to point this out before we go. Tim, you have this look like somebody who expects to be ushered to his box seats at a baseball game right now. So It's been a lot to take in, seeing somebody get real worked up, where I'm like, oh, somebody go get his popcorn right now because he's not doing okay. Having said all that, lady, gents, I feel like we've covered everything here. And I just have to say, it's just a shame that Kevin wasn't here to celebrate with us this entire time.
Raf.
And that I felt like we were able to say whatever we want with the
Raf,
confidence.
buddy.
What?
Raf.
What's up?
I've been here the whole time.
Huh?
What?
I've been here the whole time.
What the?
Hold on. When you say
This entire time.
Is that Kevin? Hold on. Oh my God! Wait, who brought sound effects to my show? You never bring sound effects to my goddamn show. There's one thing I hate more than anything else is you don't overproduce the goddamn show. Let me see if someone here is magically around, and then we can go figure out if this bit's worth doing. You mean to tell me
What the hell?
that somebody is fully here and that there's somebody who has been... Oh, shit, it's KEVIN SHERILL.
What the
Kevin,
hell?
what are you doing here?
Just hanging out, man. Just enjoying the roast. God.
Okay. Did your opinion change of anybody here today, sir?
Man, I would have thought Katie would be the anchor, so I appreciate that not happening. And Tim holding it down. Good Lord, bro. Got that off your chest. Used your outside voice. Good for you.
So
It took almost as much confidence to wear that jacket.
hey, be nice to him. He is colorblind. Don't forget that, sir. Sometimes he doesn't know the shirt combos that he does and just shows up and says, "Is this good?" And I go, "No, sir. Try again, please." Well, Kevin, I wasn't prepared for you to be here. So I guess what I'm saying is, how long have you been here?
At, a couple months. You guys just haven't cut to me yet. I've been waiting.
Really?
I've been doing the show the whole time. I thought I was like, man, they really are. These guys just keep yapping. They just chew up all the airtime.
God, yeah. That's the thing people say about us over you all the time, consistently. You know, Kev,
I'm the quiet one. You know me.
Yep. People say that Kevin, he knows how to
That's
shut
what people say.
That's 100% here. So I guess because I wasn't fully prepared for you, let me see if I have something here for you. I guess this is, oh, look, I do have something ready because I'm always ready. Kev, I feel like it's only fair to give you a rebuttal time. Do you have anything that you'd like to let off? And I feel like as the MC, I should say, ladies and gentlemen, the man of the hour, the person who looks like he just got off his shift as a used car salesman, please welcome KEVIN SHERILL.
I appreciate it. I appreciate all you guys coming today. It was important to me that we get a selection of people who all are pretty funny, pretty entertaining, charismatic. They've got a following. They've got a little bit of people know who they are. And then I realized I couldn't leave Sergio out of this. So he got one too. Yeah. I just got things to say about everybody. We're just going to work our way down the line, right? First off, Ernesto, it's good to see him, but every time I see him, I get a little concerned, if y'all have seen him over the past few years, he's putting on a little bit of weight. He's getting a little bigger. And anytime, you see inflation go that crazy, I hate to see it, the economy's downturn. Paul, on the other hand, right? Paul, I don't know if Paul's my richest friend. God, it's back. I love it.
Oh, God. You've been gone this whole time, and it's been
I've been
great.
gone so long.
You come
so
back
happy.
once, and it's
You brought the thumbs up.
There we go.
I hate it so much.
Oh my God.
Oh, God.
Only Kevin can do this.
It's good to be back. It's yeah. Paul, I'm not sure if he's my richest friend, but he would like me to know he is. He once told me in an interview process to not let them pay me no little $120,000 a year. Oh man, we're gonna do this the whole time. I'm just gonna keep going. Yeah, don't let them pay me no small 120K a year, which is, I don't know how you guys live, but that's an insane sentence to come out of a person's mouth. He once told us, we had him on the show and we asked him what he would do if he won, his portion of the 100K PGF money. It's 20K. What he would do with that money. And he said, I don't really know. I'm going BJJ Camp Rio after this. So I'll be in Brazil for, a few weeks. I'll probably just blow all of it, man. I won't take any of it home with me. And, he's a man of his word. He didn't take any of that money home with him. Not a cent. Sergio, I already told one joke about Sergio, and I will not be telling a second because I don't want to go missing. Nathan. Nathan fights in the BKFC. I don't know if you guys know this. Raf certainly didn't. He almost didn't make it on the show because Raf had no idea who Nathan was, which is hilarious, man. Nathan's been on ESPN, and then he almost didn't make the show. Talk about succeeding downward, bro. You're getting big timed by us. He's usually the BKFC's reserved for guys that are at the end of their MMA career. They're kind of on a downturn, and Ethan's pretty young, so it might not make sense that he's in there. And then you grapple with him and you realize this is the right move. Retirement, MMA's gone beyond you, bro. Good job. Good call. Ben, first of all, top tier video. Some of you may know Ben as the least athletic, least tough 10 PLV guy ever. I don't know that he can do a cartwheel, much less whatever it is those guys are doing out there. Some of you may not know Ben. Most of you probably. Reese. As has been said, Reese and I used to live together. He developed a really close relationship with my cat, Otis, as the only pussy he doesn't repel. Steven, I'm sorry about this, bro. I didn't really prepare much for you. Something must have been lost in communication here. I thought you were just going to introduce everybody and leave. Katie, powerlifter, Karjitsu champ, slap match champion, basically anything but real jiu-jitsu, right? The one thing we do have in common, neither of us can find a dub in an actual real jiu-jitsu match. Tim, this is a cool full circle moment for me. First time knowing Tim Freeman exists is when somebody sent me like a 2-minute clip of this man handsome for being an Office 7, right? And as any of you has found you on the internet and told you you're not pretty enough, it's because he couldn't find the link. He went to the bio, didn't find it, saw the paywall, came out. He was like, no, absolutely not. Raf, our fearless leader, the head of the Voltron TV show that didn't actually get funded. Appreciate you guys putting this together. I had to go with Voltron. I debated Power Rangers, but we got to look at our demographic, and you guys are age 60 and up, right? That's Voltron. I appreciate all you guys coming through, man. Everybody that sent videos, everybody that showed up live. This has been a blast, man.
The one thing I want to say for everybody here, just so we're clear, in the future, if we do one of these and we don't get canceled here today, yeah, I did kick you out here. Let's see if I can get the assemble back together. I have to go on yours and be tiny there. Okay. The one thing I kind of want to make sure we understand in the future is have a very clear end of the fucking roast. Everybody here, because I'm sitting here being like, do I go? Do I have more jokes? Kevin literally looked like a fucking cat in a fucking headlight going. And I go,
so we're done, right?
Roast. You wrote the things. Just you tell me when you're done, sir.
You say a cat in the headlights?
Yeah.
That's not how that goes. You really are from California.
I just want to
They
tell
don't
you
have
this
deer
right
out
now,
there?
Kevin. Hold on. Would you rather say a Kevin in the headlights? Because that's a true story.
Usually it's yeah.
What do you want me to do? Reverse it?
I didn't
better
realize
to
that
you?
story was so widespread.
What do you said it on air on the internet
I'm,
on this show?
I have no idea what you mean. I don't talk about myself like that.
Oh my God. Okay.
Kevin, you made the face like you saw boobs for the first time.
So I want to thank Katie, Steven. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you guys. Y'all killed it. Super proud.
You guys did great.
If there is any future of this for us, like roast in the future for the world. Oh my God, my camera just cut out right there. Yikes. What a time for that to happen. Coming back. 3, 2, 1, and back. If there's ever a future for us to have roasts in jiu-jitsu, I feel like you are the founding father and mother along with the rest of us here. So it is my hope that hopefully we can do more of these. I'm going to bring it back to the boys here. It has been a moment since you've seen the three of us together, and I can now take off this photo, which it's been so long, I don't even know where it belongs. Nope. I think Katie's now on the show. Shit.
Bummer,
Sorry,
Kev.
Thank you.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
She's a
Now
little
I know
more
what,
opinionated,
oh.
so she'll
Now
make-
I know
All right.
Yeah,
Couple
we're
quicker-
like, we need a guy that looks like Charles Grodin.
I love that before we were doing this and we got on air, everybody was already getting some of the material out. Like they were just like soft testing their joke. Like, I wonder if I said you looked like a substitute teacher, Kevin. You like that one? No, I'm gonna go somewhere else. Okay. Having said this, well, Kevin, we're glad to have you back. We obviously wanted to make a big announcement in the way that you came back, but before we do the closing stuff, we wanted to give everybody the notes, which is you will see the Dream Team back here for your PGF pre-show. So myself, Tim, Kevin, full gang's going to be back for the upcoming season of the PGF. We're very excited for that. And I don't know if I'm speaking off more than we'll actually do. We'll see how this schedule goes. But I think they're going to be now Tuesdays for Bullpen for PGF and Fridays for Bullpen all other topics. So you will get double the amount of time. And in true Kevin fashion, he will likely be there for half of it. So we are working out all the details, but we wanted to bring back Kevin. And honestly, Kev, this is the part where we say things that we love you. We were so excited you got your black belt, and it was just a fun excuse to get some friends together to have them say nice things. And it was very funny to coordinate with them because so many people, as much shit as they give you in the DMs, were like, can I say this? And my answer was always, yeah. But the fact that they asked is I was like, oh, they play mean on the chats. But behind the scenes, they're like, oh, I'm going to come real hard on them. And I was like, first of all, phrasing. Second of all, when they put it out, I'd be like, that's not even that rough of a joke. I think everybody here can take it. So do you have any response to any of this, Kev?
None more than I have. I think I'm going to report some of your accounts to Instagram and get some passive-aggressive revenge.
When you say passive-aggressive revenge, you said before this, you're going to go grapple with every single one of this. Does that still stand? Because that requires you to show up.
Everyone but Steven.
Okay. Steven is still your friend. Tim, what do you...
No, I'm just continuing to duck.
Tim, what do you have to tell the people about the upcoming season for the PGF and our involvement?
So, PGF Season 8 coming up next week. You can catch us live out at the draft. So we'll be banging out there on the jiu-jitsu season for the PGF. I can't wait. Hey, big implications, man. Real money. They're no longer playing with monopoly money for the draft. It's real dollars. And I want to see who we all know how paper thin the egos are of these athletes. I mean, look at Kevin. So these guys are going to be upset if they don't get very much money, in the draft. They're going to get hurt. So I can't wait.
Easy there. You said athlete and Kevin, and legally I don't think you could say that.
I mean, look, I'm trying to throw him a bone.
Beginning to realize
I want him to stick around. I don't want him to skulk off again and hide in the utility closet for 8 weeks and then be like, I've been here the whole time, guys. Talk about passive-aggressive move, Kevin. What the fuck, dude?
I'm beginning to realize this roast is going to have broader implications. You guys have developed some habits.
Well, I think actually
they're like, oh shit, I can say the quiet part loud. Let's go.
No. I think the worst part of the roast was the manifestation of you not being here. So we had all this material that we were like, well, normally I'd say this one joke that wouldn't feel as burning, but now amidst an hour full of everybody pinataing you, maybe a little bit more there. Well, let's say this. To our friends who are watching, thank you so much. To our friends who sent in videos, we appreciate you. Kevin, we're glad to have you back, sir. I think the next thing that we're doing all together is going to be a draft for ourselves. You guys will see it early next week. And then myself and Tim will actually be out in Vegas. So we're very excited about that happening. And the team here is going to be finding out fun new ways to do it because guess what? The PGF is happening every week on a Wednesday, which is dope for the athletes, complicated for those of us who work the show. So we're going to be doing the best that we can to get you coverage on a regular weekly basis. But for the top of the show, you'll see me and Tim out there for the draft. And then hopefully toward the end, you'll see us again. But gentlemen, do you have any things that you want to plug? Any things that I can give you? I'm going to give the first mic time on over to Kevin. Kevin, do you have anything you'd like to say, sir?
No, just incredible.
Hold on, not Kevin. Shut up. You just haven't been here for a minute. And this is the best part. Katie left.
It's the view of a disappointed man.
It's a ceiling fan. It's a ceiling fan.
Bro.
I'm back.
We're back
now. Just Kevin Grapples on Instagram. It's super great to be back. I'll form the legs, man. Let's go.
Let's do it. All right. Back you over to Tim.
Hey, yo, check us out, Inside BJJ, all that great stuff. If you're out in Nashville, come see me at 10th Planet Nashville. And if you're in the hood out in Stockton, go see our sister school, 10th Planet Stockton. And KEVIN SHERILL, I love you. This is the end of my jokes. I'm like the Grandpa Biden of the bullpen. I'm very just kind of like not the touchy feely thing part, not that part, just like the I don't know, man, I'm from Scranton. Anyway, listen, you're an awesome dude. I'm sorry, Mama Sherrill. I said some heinous things about your boy. He's a great dude. And that's it. Yeah. Good job. Good. Glad you're back, Kevin.
All right. As per usual, let me clean this up for everybody. I'm so sorry in advance to anybody who was no, I'm not. I don't give a shit. If you're offended by any of these jokes, you have a paper thin ego, and I don't want any part of you. One of the reasons we can do this show is because it's good to laugh at yourself. It is good to laugh, period. So when you got somebody like Kevin who's willing to go ahead and be the butt of the joke and sit over off to the side quietly for the entire show and laugh, that's good stuff. And you might have heard him throughout the show in the background. So if you have really good ears, you probably heard him. Nonetheless, I want to say thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this telecast. I hope in the future we can do more black belt roasts or roast general. The good news is these guys don't get to roast me until like 2035 because the way I'm going with this black belt thing, it's going to be a minute. Nonetheless, I want to say, again, thank you in advance. Come check us out for PGF starting next week. Coverage happens live. You can check out the Grappling Hour for all the coverage of all the athletes. We got tons of videos that are going up on the daily. You can also check me out, patreon.com/Grappling Hour. And last reminder, I think later today I'll be back with a broadcast for the UFC BJJ series. We've been roasting those episodes as well, and we'll be back to do some of that. And that's what I do solo. So on behalf of all of us here, thank you so much for watching. It's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.